Compass Academy, we'll talk about how to reduce sodium intake and reduce your blood pressure. Reducing sodium intake is one of the natural ways to reduce your blood pressure if you are hypertensive. Yet, when most people that are hypertensive think of reducing sodium, they end up doing only one thing. They stop adding sodium to the food they cook or the food they eat. They stop adding salt, salt. They stop adding salt to this food they cook, or the food they eat. Surprise, surprise, this isn't enough, I've seen a lot of people, complain either directly to me or to others, or even do a little research. You will see that a number of people are surprised. Hey, I've stopped adding salt to my food and my blood pressure is still high, or there is no change in the number of medications I take, even though I don't enjoy my food as much as I used to. This is very frustrating, and honestly, I don't know why I should continue trying to put in so much effort and get so little result. Have you felt like that yourself? Or have you talked to a friend who has felt like that, Or do you ask yourself that even as you soldier on, trying to reduce your blood pressure and maintain your health, increase your wellness, And if you've been following me in the Dala Compass Academy, you know that we're all about the dimensions of, wellness, health and wellness. It's one of the things we focus mostly on, the factors that affect it and how we can ameliorate those factors, So that's one of the reasons why we're talking about this today, how to reduce sodium intake and reduce your blood pressure. Well, most people, stop adding salt. They stop adding salt to their food. They complain that though they have stopped adding salt to the food they eat, their blood pressure has remained high. This is usually disappointing to them because the food has also become less tasteful, and yet the desired effect of a reduced blood pressure has not yet been achieved. This is particularly the case if you have high blood pressure and you want to reduce it, or you're looking for natural ways to reduce it, or you don't want to remain on so many medications, or you're hoping that you can cut down on your medications. Well, like I always say, when it comes to cutting down medications, you have to remember you have to talk to your doctor, okay? Your doctor makes that determination for you. What we share with you here are just, it's purely educational, tips and strategies that would help you. No guarantees, because each person is different, and you actually have to, make the effort to do this and then collaborate with your provider. So going back to what I was saying, why is it that, after you've made the effort to cut down on the amount of salt that you eat, maybe you've cut down on the salt you use in cooking, or maybe you've, taken the extra step of making sure you don't even add salt to the food that you already have on the table or in the plate, and yet your blood pressure is still going up. Why is this happening? Here are a few reasons I want to share with you in this training from the Dala Compass Academy Wellness Challenge. Okay, here are a few things. First of all, when you have your sodium going up, let me repeat that. When you have your blood pressure going up, even though you've tried to cut down on your sodium by cutting down on the salt you're taking, well, this usually happens because there are other sources of sodium that have not been accounted for, As an example, if you are 47 and over and you want to cut down on sodium so that you can reduce your blood pressure, then you have to learn to do more than simply adding salt, more than not simply adding salt to what you cook or what you eat. You have to do more than that. One other thing you could do, and I strongly recommend that, is read your nutrition facts. Read them when you are out in the grocery store trying to buy some food, when you pick up a can or whatever, look at the nutrition facts. It's there, the label is there, right? Read it and see how much sodium it contains, Form a habit of doing that. Read your nutrition facts. The facts are labels on food. The nutrition facts are labels on food that explain the nutrients and ingredients they contain. And here is what I do when I read the nutrition facts. Generally, I look at my nutrition facts. Generally, when I look at my nutrition facts, okay, I also look at my sodium, fiber, and fat content. I know people sometimes ignore their sodium content and thinking it doesn't matter. I mean, they just focus on the calories per serving, or they check to make sure, look at, trans fat, saturated fat, that kind of picture, But, well, it does pay to look at sodium, because when you're trying to reduce your sodium intake or to be more, we don't think, okay, well, I would say when you're trying to reduce your sodium intake, right, and, lower your blood pressure, here is an example, of what you need to do, Here's an example of how this is put in practice, looking at the nutrition facts. So say you're trying to buy a loaf of bread and you also want to buy a can of soda. So you want to compare how much each one has, right? So you can see that the loaf of bread, just as an example, has a single serving size of bread containing 150 milligrams of sodium. Now be careful with serving size, okay? You have to check at the side and say what represents the serving size. Is it one slice of bread, 2 slices of bread? Is it the whole, loaf of bread? Typically, the serving size is for bread. It's usually 1 slice or 2 slices. But you need to read the nutrition facts to know how it's been described for you. That way you can decide what you will eat, how much you will eat, and how much you will not eat. So, and then if you look at a can of soda as a typical example, it contains 65 milligrams of sodium per serving size. Typically for soda, the serving size is the whole can, okay? So once you finish that whole can, you've taken the serving size. So, but can you believe it? Can you believe that, one can of soda only has 65 milligrams of sodium, while one serving size, which could be 1 slice of bread or 2, would contain 150 milligrams. So 1 serving size of bread contains more sodium than a serving size of soda, So, think about that in practice, how you eat and all that stuff. You think, okay, you know what, I'm not adding salt to my food. I've stopped it, or it's very minimum. Okay, I've also stopped taking soda. Okay, so let's think about it. We have to take 2 cans of soda. That will get us to 130, as against 1 slice, 1 serving size of bread, that is 150 milligrams. And if it is 1 slice, that is the serving size, then it's just 1 slice. If it's 2, then 2. So by the time you take, just an example, if 1 slice of the bread you're taking was 150 milligrams, and that was the serving size, right? And if you take 2 of those, you are already at what? 65 plus 65 is 130, right? Hopefully my math won't let me down. Hey, if it does, tell me on the comment section, okay? But so it gets us to 130, right? Now I think I messed it up, okay? Let's do it again. You have a bread is 150 milligrams. So if you take 2 slices, you are going to 300 milligrams. Okay, but if it's soda is 65 milligrams. So if you take this, so if you stop taking your soda, cut it off, but you take 2 slices, 300. See where you're at. That's equivalent to like, what, 4 cans already. But you're saying you're cutting down. You see the problem with that? This is one of the reasons why sometimes when people tell me, hey, I've cut down, I try to find out. I ask them, are you reading your nutrition facts? Do you know how other sources of sodium that you're taking in there? Do you know other things? Are you eating a lot of processed food? A lot of processed food have salt in them. They have sodium, high contents of sodium, because it's also used as a preservative, So you're going to have a lot more than you would normally have if you're just eating fresh, Well, how will you know if you don't check, That's one of the reasons why we really need to, form the habit of looking at our nutrition facts. You know that according to the American dietary guidelines, we should not take more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium every day. That's about 2,300 milligrams of sodium every day. This is equivalent to 1 flat teaspoon of salt. This can be quite challenging, because if you think about it, 1 teaspoon of salt is very small, and it's easy to get to, right? If you can easily add that to your food or some other things you're doing. So, but let's just in this training, I want to go a little bit deeper, right? So you make it a habit. I recommend, first of all, make it a habit to read your nutritional facts. That way you will know the serving size of what you're getting. So I'll break this down with an example, right? We're trying to make sure we're not taking more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium, right? And then if you're diabetic, the recommendation is even lower, 1,500 milligrams per day, of sodium. Okay? This means that if you're over 47 and hypertensive, your goal should be 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day, or less. You shouldn't exceed that. That's what, is recommended. That's what would help you lower your blood pressure. Excuse me. The good thing to remember is that reducing sodium intake can lower your blood pressure by about 5 millimeters mercury. How now, if you intend to eat about 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day and start your day with 10 slices of bread, you have just taken 15 milligrams of sodium to start your day. I mean, with the example I gave you of 150 being, a serving size, and if the serving size is equal to 1 slice of bread, then 150 times 10 is 150. So if you just take 10 slices, well, thankfully, most people don't do that, right? They don't go and take 10 slices, but some people can easily take 6 or 4. Either way, you've taken it as 600 milligrams. If it's 4, right? 4 times 15, yeah. Or, worse still, if you've gone for 6, about 900 milligrams. So you're already halfway through by just starting. You haven't done anything else. You haven't taken soda, you haven't done anything. And before you know it, you're already looking at close to 1,000 milligrams. You can see why, even if that same person didn't add any additional salt, to their food or to what they're cooking, they would still find it challenging to lower their blood pressure. Yes. Then any other sodium you eat for the rest of the day will be in excess of your target. So if you start with 10 slices at 150 milligrams, each, then anything else you do after that, you're already exceeding your target. You can see why it can be quite challenging to get to what you want. This is one of the reasons why, you have to learn how to reduce the salt you add to your food. But you also have to make sure you're not eating more salt through other food items or food that you eat for the rest of the day. That's the key thing. It's got to be, how do I put it? It's got to be you can't just focus on one thing and then say you're done. It's got to be collaborative. It's got to have, it's cumulative, right? You have to like say to yourself, okay, I have more than one source of sodium in my diet. Some you can easily account for by just knowing the, nutrition facts. Some you cannot, maybe they're not labeled. Maybe for some reason you might not be able to. So you always have to give room for those ones you can't. So that's why for the ones you can actually eat, the ones that you can easily, determine how much sodium you're getting, pay close attention to them, because there could be other sources that you're not aware of. Okay, well, I hope this helps. In the next training, I'll go over how to read your nutrition facts and make it a positive tool that would help you reduce your sodium intake and therefore reduce your blood pressure. You can learn more about this training, by signing up for the Dala Compass Wellness Challenge. If you sign up for that, we're even going to, a lot more detail, a lot more things to talk about, After all, it's a 90-day challenge. So, but the key is, at the end of that 90-day, you would have developed the transformative self-mastery habits that would help you, to make your health your number one focus, because your health is your wealth and it's your first wealth. Without it, you can't do much more. And the right habits lead to the right results. If you are getting this, on YouTube or in one of my podcasts, if you're getting it there, you know what you could do? You could go to the description section and click on the link to the Compass Wellness Challenge. If not, you could just subscribe so you will know when next training that we have. The next training, like I said, is going to be focused on nutrition facts, and how you can turn it into a positive tool that would help you make decisions, in terms of what you eat, what quantity you eat, and how you eat it. Yes, it's going to help you do that. All right, I'll see you next time. Thank you.